It was the evening of March the 3rd.
Feel like a stroll?
I've ironing to do.
Oh, Arlette.
I haven't read the paper yet. It's raining. I had my hair done yesterday.
Share my umbrella?
And my walking shoes need to go to the menders.
All right.
They must have been waiting for him, waiting outside that horrible flat in the Hague. A witness said later, a dark-coloured car.
There he is. A man of habit, bless his heart. Piet Van der Valk. Ex-inspector of the criminal brigade in Amsterdam. He's off the active list now, on some government committee.
Then he's no risk, is he?
Why'd he show himself at the shop, sniffing around Louis? He's a threat, a risk that can be eliminated. Here. It's a Luger, semi-automatic. It won't catch or jam. Don't go blazing away 3 or 4 shots at the small of his back. Well, go on. Get out.
Not a bad place to study along. Silence. No disgrace to die on the street. We're not done on purpose. Stronger.
A Long Silence. An Arlette Van der Valk mystery by Nicholas Freeling, dramatised for radio by Philip Martin, with Stella Gonnet as Arlette.
Arlette Van der Valk? Yes. Where? I drove like fury, as if he could still be alive. Policemen, the rain showing against the streetlights, a whole knot of cars. His body was still in place, lying there on dead wet leaves, the moisture gleaming on his loden coat.
I needn't tell you how I feel. Thanks, Mevrouw, no more for me. And if I may say, should you be drinking whiskey?
It has no effect on me whatsoever.
Yes. I need hardly say, when we lose a man, we don't give up.
I know.
We have impressions of the tyre marks and ejected cartridge cases. When we recover the bullets...
Yes, yes.
We will neglect nothing. Past dealings, grievances. It may take some time.
When can you let me have my husband back?
Not too long. Regarding the funeral...
I don't wish to seem rude, Commissaire, but Piet didn't belong here in The Hague, and neither do I. He came from Amsterdam, but he has no family left there, and now I want to go back to France. I know you will want to send big wreaths and everything, but I don't want that. I want to leave as soon as I can.
Where will you go?
We had a little house in France for retiring to. That's where I'm going to take him. Back home with me. We buried him in a small, awkward little cemetery squeezed up against the sharp slope of a hill, surrounded by rusty railings, smelling of dead leaves. I threw in the last rose. It lay amongst the others on his coffin, dark yellow and tight bud, the kind he always liked. Afterwards the children stayed for a while, then returned to their own lives. And I was alone, surrounded by tea chests full of junk, and him, my husband, everywhere.
Alors, madame!
Yesterday's Monde. A postcard from the boys. A mail order catalogue, dull. A bank statement from a computer in Milan. And a large, Square parcel with a Dutch stamp. A note enclosed from the Commissaire of Police.
Despite every diligence, the affair is very puzzling. Since the deceased was not on active duty, an act of vengeance? The gun has been identified as a Luger, a .9mm pistol, but has not been found. Cases are never closed, and it's hoped that sometime in the future. Enclosed a quantity of your husband's personal papers and notebooks relative to Mr. Van der Valk's work for the Commission. These have been examined, without result.
There were 6 notebooks. When I opened one at random, it was as if Piet were in the room with me, as if he'd embraced me. I felt the clutch of the living man as I saw his scribble on the pages of the books.
Dropping a watch on the tram line. How was it possible? Mechanically. I would never have believed it. I could have cried. Odd how even a frightful catastrophe can give one a notion. But I'm not buying one here. Too bloody dear. Memo A. Ask boys to get a nice classic one in Schweizland. Für mich Anniversaire.
That note nagged at me for the rest of the day. Piet had recently been wearing a different watch, one with pretty enamelled numerals. He told me he'd got it remarkably cheap, second-hand or something. I remembered him being mysterious about it, saying it had been a lucky break in something he was puzzling out. I decided to read those notebooks, carefully. Piet always wrote everything down. It was his method. Odd how even a frightful catastrophe can give one a notion. There was an explanation to his assassination. I was convinced it lay in his notebooks.
A. Sweater. Pick up cleaners. Miss Waterman, secretary. Remember her name. Not fountain pen, venereal disease, or French tram drivers. Waterman, miss. Okay? TV pundit. Late night. Criminal code of law. Public's contact with me. Christ. On telly. Tale about supposed watch stolen, conceivably planted. What is it to do with me? Richard. Lindengracht. Watch fiddle. What's in it? Richard Odingha. Age 22, student. Pa dead in Friesland. Suddenly offered job. Thought fishy. Saw me on the TV. Pictures fiddle. Illegal deal. B. Louis. What can you need the boy for? Strip tree, false apples, blimey. Experiment. At present, no factual information. Even the watch may have come from a different source. L.S. Pseudonym? The boy wanted reassurance and, in a sense, advice, but he also wanted help. I cannot neglect the possibility that he needs help. A very unprofessional remark and attitude. Mimosa. Not much scent. Bye for Arlette. Bit of home. Arlette. She civilized me. I rubbed the corners off her. Arlette sometimes shows a reckless personal courage that frightens me. My wife is capable of anything.
Oh, Piet. After that I went what the Dutch call mataglap. It's a Malay word that's crept into their language, meaning run amok mentally. I'd spent hour upon hour studying those notebooks, not eating, drinking too much. Sometimes the fragments fell into place. My husband shouldn't have been working on a case, and yet he was. Something to do with what he termed an experiment concerning a boy and a watch. Not the new watch Piet sported, another one. The boy was worried about maybe having had it planted on him by an employer. A loyalty test. Or something more sinister. It all seemed to make sense, but then, half an hour later, it didn't, and I was back in a dark tunnel of indecision and blind ignorance. Eventually I could go no further. Alone in that stone prison of a house, I descended into the state of Mataglap. In her insanity, the sufferer notices nothing, neither pain, fatigue, or fear. Reason had no part in my thinking. It seemed perfectly logical that I must go to Amsterdam to follow up the scraps of clues left by my husband. I wanted to know not just who had killed him, but whether a cogent reason could be found to explain why. Crazy.
My dear girl, what are you doing here? Oh, come in. I'm so happy to see you, but, well, dear child, so sad. Oh, come in, my dear, come in. You don't mean to say you walked from the station. You couldn't. Sit down, child, sit down.
She taught the piano. Piet called her Bates in deference to Jane Austen. A wonderful person, really. A mine of information about the quarter where she lived. Forever fixing things for someone, pulling strings for someone else. A warm-hearted old girl.
You take yours black, dear. Oh, yes, I hadn't forgotten. Not gaga yet, thank God. Good heavens, child. It must be 7 years. You haven't aged. A few lines. Badges of honour, that's what I call them. Tell me, can you bear to talk about it? Where are you staying? By the look of you, you could do with a square meal.
Well, I don't know. I was wondering...
Of course. Plenty of room, if you can bear the blatherings of an old maid.
Of course I can.
That's settled. Now, food.
No fuss, please.
I'm going to the butcher.
Not...
Yes, still the same awful fellow. The escalops he gave me last week. Since you left, he's expanded his business. He thinks anything is permitted. I'll get a couple of nice cutlets for dinner. Something to drink, too.
Please, no.
Oh, rubbish. I love the excuse. And I'll make pancakes. I never bother on my own. Take your shoes off. Put your feet up, breathe the paper. Have a bath. Wait till that wretch of a butcher hears you're back. He'll jump out of his skin.
Oh. Delicious cutlets.
He swore that you'd be able to cut them with a fork. I just looked and said, she'd better. Beaujolais. I remembered. You used to buy Beaujolais.
It's wonderful. After the pancakes, we finished the wine, and I told her everything that had happened, how I felt, and why I'd come back to Amsterdam.
You don't want to involve the police?
No.
I know I must seem a silly old bag, but believe me, my dear, I do know how you feel. I lost my husband in 1940. His ship was torpedoed. You're confused. Bitter, of course you are. You might well find out who killed your husband. It's surprising what can be done when you really try. But it's as well to have friends you can count on, and you can count on me for a start. Now, bed. Your eyes are falling out.
1940.
So long ago. That war. The things we had to do. I threw a bomb at a bad man in the Oiterpestra. Oh. Frightened. So frightened. Right outside Gestapo headquarters. I knew they would take hostages and execute them. I was terrified. But some things just had to be done. Oh, morning, child.
Tea! Oh, you're spoiling me.
Oh, hush.
Thank you.
What else would it be?
Who has the upstairs flat now?
Yours? Oh, some artists. She's half English. Hilary. Messes with metals, acids, bangs about. Don't think much of the result.
She's a sculptor.
That's not what I'd call it. She hammers out horrible, twisted things. Her husband at least paints things you can recognise. He's in and out, you'll meet him. Looks a bit like Gandhi. Or is it Rudyard Kipling? Danny and Hilary de Vries.
I didn't have to wait long to meet Mr. de Vries. I was bringing him the milk when a little nut-brown man with steel-rimmed specs, a soup strainer moustache and wearing ragged overalls suddenly appeared in front of me. Oh, good morning.
Do you play the piano?
What?
For Madame Counterpoint. She knows we call her that. She hasn't offended at all.
No, I used to live in your flat.
Mrs. Van der Valk?
Yes.
I know all about you. You're French, you smell delicious, and you used to keep the whole neighbourhood entertained with your battles with the butcher.
He's prospered, apparently.
Though he dwells in marbled halls, you wouldn't recognise his shop.
I'd recognise him.
Come upstairs for a drink. I won't seduce you, though I'd love to. My wife's him. We both long to meet you. Heard so much about you.
Okay. Outside his door upstairs, he stopped, turned, looked at me with sharp, bright eyes.
Your husband was assassinated. I am so very sorry. Please, after you. I don't need to tell you the way.
It was the sight of the hideous Victorian hat stand that did it. I'd been so happy to say goodbye to the thing, and now, seeing it still standing in place, set me off bawling like a baby.
Can you drink Pernod at this time of day?
Of course I can, it's almost lunchtime.
Oh, it's breakfast time. Hilary, this is Arlette Van der Valk. She used to live here?
I'm so sorry.
I'll get us a drink.
See, can I get you anything? Whatever you want, we've got it. All can shoplift it. Cold water, Kleenex, handbags, lipstick. Friday?
Oh, just a drink. I'm sorry, what must you think? I've been such a fool of myself.
Here we are. Booze for breakfast.
Oh, thank you. Oh, strong. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll be all right.
In your place, I'd be just the same. And I'd need longer to recover. Oh, an awful.
Yes, your husband was well known round here, well liked.
Yes. Yes, I've come to lay his ghost. But I don't quite know how yet.
But you've come to get to the bottom of it all. Your husband, who killed him?
Yes.
The police no good.
Misguided. No imagination.
Have you anything they haven't? Apart from intelligence, of course. Anything factual?
Maybe. I'm not able to judge. I'd be glad of your opinion.
Come to dinner tonight.
If you like curry.
I'd taken a real liking to this couple. I hoped they liked me. I spent the afternoon just walking around the old quarter, seeing what was old, what was new. I struggled to make sense of the few uneasy threads of suspicion I'd found reading Piet's notebooks in France.
We'll leave the washing up till morning, I think.
You're obviously the only person who can interpret these notebooks, Arlette. But perhaps an objective mind? We never knew him, but that could be an advantage. Like a crossword.
I'm sorry?
Well, you know, you sit gazing at something like the warmed-up rum issue in an African kraal. Lily flower.
Yes.
And then somebody, like Hilary, glances over your shoulder and says, "Quick, as you like."
Hottentot.
I see.
What I mean is, what may seem disconnected remarks in these notes, juxtaposed, make up into a clue.
Yes.
You said there were references made to a watch, right?
Well, yes, he'd unstrapped his wristwatch and dropped it. It got wedged somehow in a tram line, got run over before he could pick it up. He wrote in his book. Yes, here it is. Hold on. Yes. Odd how a stupid catastrophe can give one a notion. And I wondered what notion, because he came home with a new watch and was very mysterious about it. It was pretty, sort of antique. I gave it to Ruth, our daughter, as a keepsake.
Where did it happen?
By the Königsplain. I looked for any note to do with a watch. There's one that says, yes, tale about supposed watch stolen, conceivably planted. What has it to do with me?
So somebody came to him with a tale about another watch, which might or might not have been stolen. Or why would he have written supposed? Yes, he was interested because something seemed odd about it. Otherwise, why write, why come to me?
So there are two watches. Your husband's new watch And the watch that might or might not have been stolen.
Anything else? Another note?
Well, there's a name. Richard. Lindenhacht. Watch fiddle. And another. Richard Odingha. Age 22, student.
Well, straightforward then. Look in the Lindenhacht for a Richard answering to that description.
If it was that easy, she'd have done it. Or the police would. Arlette, you said it was a pretty watch. The one your husband replaced the other with. Antique?
It was made in imitation of an antique. It must have been expensive originally.
But it wouldn't be bought in an antique shop.
It could have been a watchmaker's.
Or a jeweller's.
Well, there you are. You look for a jeweller's in the Lindenhacht district.
There isn't a jeweller's in the Lindentracht, child.
Not one.
None at all.
Damn. We thought we had a clue. A lead. We're just like kids. Emile and the detectives. Pathetic.
Now, don't talk rubbish. But more minds than one could be a good idea. Ask those two artistic creatures down for a drink, and we'll see if forming a gang will help.
Bates took over the chair. Well, the revolving piano stool. We were in her workroom.
This watch, now. We don't know if he bought it in a jeweller's or what. But surely we can find out if he paid by cheque.
Yes, he did. But the counterfoil simply said watch.
Police wouldn't have found anything odd about that.
If it was crossed, I could trace it back.
Well, it might lead us to the famous Richard.
I'll contact our bank.
I've spent all day reading the notebooks. There's notes and sketches about paintings that I don't understand.
Piet used to consult a picture dealer, Charles, on art stuff. I could try him.
There's also a reference, poetry possibly, about the stripped tree and the false apples. Neil, son of woeful assent.
Well, he was reading a book on Scottish history at the time. That's from there, I think.
Yes. But why write it in his working notebook? All these things must mean something. What?
I'd met Charles a few times. As usual, he looked more like a fashionable dress designer than an art dealer. His fashion statement for today was the interesting interplay between a raspberry shirt and cocoa-coloured linen trousers. Love the shirt, Charles.
Thank you. Just look at you. Chanel suit. Real, I can tell by the cut. Black. Oh, well, has to be, of course. But I hope and trust your knickers are black crepe de chine.
White cotton with Swiss embroidery.
Detestable. Drink? Anisette with lots of ice cubes?
Oh, delicious.
All right. Anisette it is.
Charles, did you see Piet in the 6 or so weeks before?
Before? Yes, well, before. Oh, I know I'm selfish, egotistical, nasty, but you'd have been cross if I'd turned up in France with a long face and a bunch of gladioli. Here.
Thanks.
Yes, I saw Piet about 3 weeks before. What was it about? Oh, yes, he showed me some sketches he'd made in his notebook. He made a joke about how rough they were.
Were they these?
Well, it's the same notebook. Oh, yes, these are they. Bit eerie, this, Arlette. Déjà vu. I'm having the same conversation with you as I did with Piet.
Which one?
Well, these sketches are of little-known 17th century masters, painters who not many folk would recognise. Me? I'd say, yes, well, they're very good, but I wouldn't know where to find the right collector who'd pay the right price. It's a specialist world. The man who had these pictures on his walls knew what he was doing. My guess was he'd buy them fairly cheaply without provenance, do the detective work, find and prove their authenticity, and voila! You're looking at a real return on your investment.
Did Piet give this collector a name?
Louis Prince. Poor old Piet, he did have a taste for the low life, and the people there do have a tendency to shoot at one.
Louis Prince.
Ah, that jewellery shop on the spree. Lots of antique bric-a-brac which looks good but isn't. Louis is a respected expert in 17th century art. I told Piet he deals mainly in second-rate stuff. But if he came across a major work, he'd certainly know how to dispose of it.
Dispose of it?
Some rare Dutch pictures can't be sold abroad without an export licence. They have to be smuggled out, sold secretly, disposed of.
Next, the bank. The manager leafed through a dossier, adjusted his rimless glasses, said twice, cleared his throat, and located the details of Piet's cheque. Paid to a certain Mr. Bosbom. Bosbom. Bates was obviously playing Madame Counterpoint with a pupil. I wanted to share what I'd found with someone. Even a grumpy Danny de Vries.
Oh, you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please. Anything to distract me from this god-awful portrait. Well, come in.
Hilary served tea. Danny cheered up a little once he'd turned the offending canvas to the wall. I reported hesitantly on my findings of the day. Danny instantly grabbed the new batch of notebooks and began scrabbling through their pages avidly. When I'd finished, Hilary just looked at me.
Darling, don't you see what you found out? It all hangs together.
How?
The pictures, Louis, the boy, B. It's that antique shop in the Spey, Louis Prince. B must be Mr. Bosbom.
You think so?
Of course.
It is. It's down here in black and white.
Oh, darling, don't splutter. It's unhygiene.
Sole fact, the boy came to see me. The jeweller, the spy, the old man. Pictures. Well, they sell pictures there and furniture, as well as jewellery and all that junk. Now listen, your husband says, observation, spy, unlikely to tell anyone much. Well, that says maybe. And then, Larry Saint, some personal observation. Who's Larry Saint? Does that mean anything to you, Arlette?
Nothing whatever, sorry.
Just a moment. Aha! We've got something to go on at last. Your man liked wordplay, yes?
Yes?
Just humour him, Arlette. It'll pass.
He wrote a quotation down. Neil's son of woeful assent.
Sorry?
Assent! Assonance! Saint!
I need a brandy.
Larry Saint! Oh, there should have been a flash of lightning there. Ah, there it is!
Danny had his Larry Saint. I was after Mr. Bosbom. Bosbom in Dutch means forest tree. When I looked in the Amsterdam phone directory, I found a whole plantation of them. But eventually, I found the right sturdy oak. We stood in a chilly rose garden. The wind came straight from Scarpa Flow.
I can see of no way that I can be of service to you.
Mr. Bosbom.
You seem to believe I withheld information on your husband's death from the police.
No, that's not...
I cannot help you.
Try to believe me, this has nothing to do with the police. It's a purely personal matter. You sold my husband a watch.
I do not contest it. It was an innocent transaction. I let him have it for an apple and egg.
He wrote something down in a notebook, something about a boy working in a jeweller's who was suspected or thought himself suspected of stealing. All very vague, and one would say quite unimportant.
I have no doubt of that.
Mr. Bosbom, do you know a man called Saint?
Now, why do you ask me that?
In my husband's notes, your name and that of Saint are mentioned in the same context.
Your husband came to see me, that is true. He asked some questions about a stock-taking in the jewellers I once managed. There was no matter in this for police inquiries.
Trying to put any pressure on you. Would it help if I gave you my word that I will not make anything you tell me public?
It might help, yes.
My husband was killed. Will you not do what you can to help me? For nothing, for no motive, but only as an act of generosity, or, if you prefer, pity, towards a woman who has lost her husband. I stood across from the jeweller's shop owned by Louis Prince. Bosbom had confirmed a lot of things, particularly about Larry Saint. He'd called him a bad man, a charlatan, more interested in criminal activities than in antiques. Tourists drifted by. A young man locked up the shop, started to saunter away, quite pleased with himself. Was this Saint? Somehow the picture Mr. Bosbom had painted, cocky, unstable character steeped in his own arrogance, didn't quite fit. I began to follow him. Was he perhaps Richard, the boy Piet mentioned? 10 minutes later, I was standing outside a sex shop. The man I'd been following had gone through a door that might lead to a flat above. Then again, maybe he was just interested in the services on offer. The shop was called the Golden Apples of the Hesperides. Blimey, as Piet would have said. Then I realized. I was standing in the same place he had, having the same thoughts. And then he had written down in his notebook the stripped tree of the false apples. After that came the note, Neil, son of woeful Asint. And yes, Bosbom had told me that Saint's real name was Leopold Neil. Neil. Neil's son. Was this where Saint lived when he was in Amsterdam?
So, did you find this Bosbom?
Yes. Wasn't much use. Just confirmed that there was something about a jeweller's. He used to be the manager there. The watch he sold my husband, he just happened to have it by him. He doesn't know anything definite about the boy.
Or Saint?
He knows he exists. He's a nephew of Louis Prince. But I discovered the meaning of that note about the false apples that puzzled us so much. It's a sex shop called the Golden Apples of the Hesperides.
What? No, the Golden what?
Such places there everywhere you look in Amsterdam.
Saint, assonance, Saint.
What?
He's been at the Brill.
I know I'm right. Every other probability has been exhausted by the police, but they've missed this. It's the only thing left. There's all sorts of indirect pointers. The Commissaire was conducting a private experiment. He didn't make any solid notes and didn't ask the police for anything. It was something quite small and unimportant. He never took it very seriously.
Why was he killed then?
Well, that's what we all want to know.
Perhaps the mistake we've all made is thinking Pete's death had a motive.
Cui bono? Who would it advantage? You're saying no one?
Well, maybe someone Pete was half-heartedly investigating as an experiment was unstable. Felt threatened, panicked.
Oh, where's this leading us? We could all be murdered.
Well, there's always an element of risk, Hilary.
Oh, my husband, warrior, painter, idiot.
I'm not frightened.
That's why you're an idiot.
I feel sure we're on the right track. We have to pursue that. And if it's risky, what does that amount to? Whoever or whatever it is can't shoot all of us. If we all go at him, he's bound to get rattled, and that would make him give himself away. Sooner or later.
How do we go at him?
Danny's theory that this man Saint was responsible for your husband's death. How can we test it?
We call in on this jeweller shop and rattle them.
We all go, one by one.
Except Arlette. She might be recognised.
Well, we can't risk her life.
Why not? My husband risked his.
Well, he might have done just that. Gone into the shop with a silly story to show suspicion because he had no proof. That's what provoked whoever it was into an act of violence.
Or an act of fear. It won't happen to us, Arlette. We have safety in numbers.
We've gone as far as we can with the notebooks. We need to provoke some extra proof.
I can't let you do this.
Oh, yes, you can.
There's still a risk.
There are some things that have to be done in this life. Yes?
Good morning. How can I help you? I'm afraid he's away in the Ardennes, plundering the presbyteries, he calls it.
How about Larry Saint?
Sorry?
Not in Amsterdam either?
Yes, he's back, but we don't see him much here now. A friend of his?
Not really. Recommendation from a friend. I was looking for an Italian Madonna. Something for my models to pose next to. I'm working on a picture contrasting women then and now. Any old Madonna will do, provided it's early. Ottocento or thereabouts. Something with a gold background, you know. Genre Simone Martini, but Cinzano will do.
Sorry, we've nothing like that in. We've an icon, but I don't think I could let that go. Our insurance wouldn't allow it. You might try Poppenheim, in the Leaderstraat.
No, he sent me to you.
Your name Richard?
Yes. Odingha. Richard Odingha, at your service. I don't know you, do I?
You do now.
How do you know my name?
A friend told me. Same guy who gave me the name of Larry Saint said you might help me out.
Yes.
Yes.
Who's that, then?
Bit of an oddball. Policeman. Not a type you'd think knew anything about art.
Oh?
Yeah, such a tragedy. Expect you read about it in the paper. Got shot. Over in The Hague. By some psychopath. Used to be a commissaire in the criminal brigade. But of course, you must have known him personally. Piet Van der Valk.
Knew him? No, I can't say I did.
Seems to have known all about you. Suggested I look you up. Larry Saint he mentioned particularly. Interesting man, he said. Good at his job. He mentioned you in the same context as he did Saint.
What was that?
Something about a watch. Well, I'm off. But about the Madonna, I'll try elsewhere. Pete said to give his regards to Larry. Bit out of date, I know. Almost a bad joke. Sorry. Still,
Regards are regards. Pass them on, just the same. Bye, Richard.
Oh, no.
There was no sign of Larry Saint?
No.
How did this Richard react when you mentioned his name?
First, he stiffened up like a fresh-caught mackerel, and then, when I mentioned Van der Valk, he nearly had kittens.
I'll go next.
No, it's my turn now. Mad artist followed by an old biddy. Ha! That should really shake him loose.
Good afternoon. My, you have a good eye. That's one of the best pieces in the shop. Striking, yet extremely elegant. It opens out to form a writing table. You see? A bonheur du jour. Genuine Louis XV lacquer. It's not signed, but we'll give you our written guarantee of authenticity.
You find a lot of this sort of furniture's fake.
Not in this house.
How would you know the difference, young man?
Mr. Prinz is recognised as a leading authority of the period.
When I was younger, there was a wonderful cabinet maker in our quarter who used to make these bonheur du jour things in his spare time.
We can always spot fakes.
Can you? Can you really? Let me tell you that this old craftsman, Piet Van der Valk, would say that if you took an old piece of wood and used traditional methods, no expert could tell the difference.
Really? What name did you say?
Old Piet Van der Valk. His son was well known. You'll know all about him.
Me? No.
Yes, you do. It was that Commissaire of Police that got assassinated in the street not so long ago. It was in all the newspapers. Shot in the back. A right filthy trick, that was. My friends and neighbours in our district just wish we could get our hands on the coward that did it. Well, what do you think?
What? About what?
This writing desk. I'm not sure about this price you got on it, or the lacquer. Red and black might clash with my curtains. It worked! Like a dose of castor oil, if you'll excuse the expression.
Well done.
Not bad. He's softened up, wilting in his pot.
Well, send Hilary in. That'll knock his castle over.
He sounds frightened. From now on, he could be dangerous.
I agreed to go.
I don't think it's necessary, actually.
What's the matter, then?
We might be getting carried away with the hounding of this boy.
But there's no doubt at all. He must have some guilty knowledge. He looked thunderstruck when he heard your husband's name.
He knows we're onto him. The noose is tightening, the net is closing, the sands are shifting.
Oh, do shut up. He has to be the boy in Pete's notebooks, but what about his motive?
You said there may not be one.
For the killing, yes. But Richard Odingha came to Pete for help. We know that. What did he want? Advice, maybe? He wasn't an informer about anything criminal, or Pete would have acted. No, the boy was in some sort of trouble. He'd maybe not pinched this famous watch, but just been accused of it.
Then why is he so afraid?
Perhaps he thinks we've discovered some trivial secret, something he's ashamed of. It could be something minor, petty even.
I don't agree. I saw his fear, you didn't.
You wouldn't worry about motive or lack of it, Arlette, if you'd seen as many pathological people as I've had the misfortune to come across.
Dangerous business, piano tutoring.
I was a member of the Dutch resistance. That business could be called dangerous.
I'm sorry.
You are.
I didn't know. I'll shut up.
I'm going to see this boy. We've no evidence. I'll just face him with what I believe happened. Then see what he has to say for himself.
It's so
I bet you
dangerous.
can't.
I can and I will. You talk as if you could stop me.
We agreed, that's what...
No, Danny, no. No more. Enough. My mind's made up. I know where the boy lives. I'm going straight there tonight.
Well, I'm coming with you, or anyway, after you.
What for?
Just as a witness. I won't interfere, I swear. I won't even be there. But just to say afterwards that you were at such and such a place at such and such a time.
He's talking sense for once. Just promise not to indulge in heroic stuff.
If anyone accosts me, I'll scream. That's what I'll do.
And I'll come and rescue you.
Right.
Come along, young Richard. Oh. Good evening. May I come in?
Well, if you're looking for Mr. Saint, I'm afraid he's not here. I don't quite know when to expect him.
I don't know whether I'm looking for Mr. Saint. I'd like to speak to you first.
Me?
I'm not selling anything, and my business is personal, so I'd be grateful if you would allow me to come in.
Oh, yes, of course. Come in. Larry might call in at any time.
The large flat was spotless, meticulously arranged. fresh flowers everywhere.
Please, sit down.
Thank you.
A cigarette?
No. Why did you ask if I was looking for Mr. Saint?
It's his flat. I'm just keeping things warm for him.
I see. Taking his place, in a way.
I don't quite see what you're getting at.
You live in his flat. You work in his shop, isn't that so?
Oh, that, yes, we're friends. You haven't told me what this is all about.
I didn't think I'd need to.
You must be a friend of Larry's. I should be offering you a drink. Would you like a glass of champagne? I've got a bottle on the go. If it's business, I dare say you could tell me. I'd see it's passed on.
You're in his confidence. Would you say that?
I would, most definitely.
Then perhaps you can tell me what happened to my husband, Commissaire Van der Valk.
You know.
I know.
Oh.
How? What are you, his fancy boy or what? You were both in it together, I can see that.
That's not true.
What's it? You shit.
Not fancy. You're choking me. We're not like that.
Who was it?
Larry drove the car.
And you? What did you do?
No.
You shot him. You shot him.
Let me go. You're hurting. Please let me go. What? Where are you going? What are you going to do?
All I wanted to do was be sick. Outside the flat, on the landing, I fought to overcome the nausea. Gradually, I found some balance and began to walk downstairs. There was a man climbing up towards me. Everything about him seemed studied, yet casual. Casual fair hair, casual, well-cut suit, early 30s. He flattened himself politely against the wall to let me pass. His cold eyes ran over me like snakes. And I knew. This was him. Saint. Larry Saint. Piet had kept guns at home. A hunting rifle. A 22 for sniping at rats. Pistols. If I had just one of those guns with me, I would have shot this vermin to pieces there, on the stairs. All this churning inside while I walked past him, aware of his appreciative half-smile. Somehow I got down to the door that opened into the street. Fanny was outside. He took me home.
Let's just get this straight. The boy broke down when he knew who you were, and he said the other guy was in on it too.
Yes.
That's not just aiding and abetting. That's equal guilt under the law. Conspiracy. Well, what do we do now? Take it to the police?
Oh, they'd say there was no case. They'd probably accuse us of making a conspiracy.
This Richard's finished. You heard what Arlette said.
A confession isn't legal proof. It can be forced out under psychological pressure.
Yes, but we know they did it. There must be evidence somewhere. They must have had a reason to kill him.
Some people kill just for the hell of it, dear boy, and that's reason enough. Some people are just evil. Nowadays we say, oh, the poor things, it's not their fault. But when I was young, there was a war on. We didn't agonise, we just did it. When we could. And we don't have it on our conscience.
Things are different now.
Are they? How? We can talk and talk, but at the finish we must ask ourselves, what do we intend to do about it? I believe these two creatures have killed through sheer wickedness, and so they must be removed. It is our duty to Arlette's dead husband to decide how that is to be carried out.
What do you say?
We should consider dispensing justice ourselves. How? By executing them. It can be done, you know. I've seen it. I can remember the ways. The Commissaire took risks all his life to protect us, and finally he took a risk too many. What do we say now? Oh, that's what he got paid for. Too bad, let's forget it, him and all he stood for. No! I say we do something. Strike back in the name of decency. Arlette, what's the matter? Are you ill, child? What is it?
No, I'm not. Do you mind if I get out of here, go for a walk? I need to calm down. I won't want any supper.
Oh, that's all right, dear. I've some nice chops. They'll keep until tomorrow.
My God, she's not only contemplating assassinations, she's also got the cooking planned.
Come and sit down. I think you owe me a full explanation. When I lent you the use of this flat, it wasn't to destroy the furniture by pouring champagne all over it and the carpet. I don't know who your lady friend was, but...
Don't you? Don't you?
Are you ill, Richard?
No. But you will be when you know who she is.
Oh, I doubt that.
She's the wife of Commissaire Van der Valk. Or to be more accurate, the widow.
These curtains never hang quite right. I must have them checked over. Did you invite the widow here?
Of course not. She rang the doorbell. She asked for you, Larry. I thought she was a friend of yours. I asked her in, offered her a drink, then she says, "Which of you killed him?" That's why I spilled the wine.
You told her who had killed that cop.
I don't know what I said. I said it was nonsense. I can't remember the exact words I used.
But you blabbed out something.
I said I can't remember the exact words. They may not have been convincing, but it didn't matter anyway. She knew, and so did the others.
Others?
There were 2 people in the shop today. Separate visits. Both found a pretext for mentioning Commissaire Van der Valk. All casual. And by the way, one said the dead man sent his regards to you. I was here waiting for you, trying to figure it out when his widow turns up. It's no coincidence, Larry. They know.
They know nothing, you little cretin. If anybody knew anything certain, do you think the police wouldn't be at our door? Well, are they at the door? She knew nothing, but you burst into tears, spilled champagne on my carpet and said, "Yes, Mummy, I do." Or did you try and take cover behind me?
No, I didn't. And if I had, that would be the simple truth. Who thought it all up in the first place? Who wanted to impress me with how smart you are, how all-powerful? That commissaire was just curious, but you, like some crazy Roman emperor, said, "That fellow irritates me, throw him to the lions." You always claimed they couldn't prove anything, ever.
And they can't. Not this group of misguided citizenry or the police. The only chance they have to reach me is through your weakness, Dickie boy.
You're getting ready to sell me out, aren't you?
Well, that's what you would think. Your nerves are not strong enough for this whole exercise of will and imagination. You've had quite a rapid little climb. You were on the street when I found you. I gave you a nice cushy job. You came to my parties, went with smart women, thought yourself quite a boy. But when it comes to the pinch, you prove yourself to be nothing but a weak little sister who has compromised me. And I can't allow that.
I never asked for the job. You forced it on me. You pretended that Philippe Patek watch was off the inventory, and you planted it for me to find. You said the killing was just for business reasons, a matter of security. Oh, what a dummy I've been. You've pulled my strings from the beginning. Well, listen to me. If I have to take 10 years in prison, you'll be in the next door cell, Larry.
Well, the police will have difficulty in accepting I could take part in such a crime. Why should I? I'm a well-regarded, highly successful businessman. I part-own an antique business with another respected pillar of the community, Louis Prince. Well, dear Louis, if I wish it, you'll confirm everything I say regarding your unstable temperament.
Why would Mr. Prince do that?
Oh, believe me, he would. Consider the facts. One day, in the shop, you have a slip from Grace. You pick up an expensive watch, which, due to my carelessness, is lying about. You don't mention it to me, but go to a semi-retired policeman to cover yourself in case I ever accuse you of theft. But it so happens he starts to take some unwelcome interest in your activities. You have access to my flat. So unwise of me, Your Honour, but I had no idea that Richard Odingha was pathologically unstable. Why, I was even foolish enough to lend him my car around the time of Commissaire Van der Valk's unfortunate death.
You really think you'll get away with that load of lies and half-truths?
I didn't know Van der Valk. He didn't know me. Why should I wish to murder him?
Because you could.
Yeah, perhaps. Who knows? I agree my theory about you being the sole assassin needs an item of evidence in support, so here I shall remind you of the weapon in the case.
You wiped it clean.
Oh, did I? Fully clean. Maybe a teensy-weensy thumbprint of yours is on the butt of the gun. What's that doing there, Richard? Why has it been wiped clean of prints anyway? Not by me. It's my gun.
No, you're bluffing me.
I'm not, Richard. But I will be nice. You will remain silent about all of this. I will attend to any more visitors who profess to have incriminating knowledge of our affairs. Dickie, be advised by one with more experience. Take a long walk. Think about the advantages of silence.
You've got me in a basket, haven't you?
Baskets can be very comfortable. Ask Louis Prince. He's learned great patience these last 10 years. Leave me now. I've things to think of, too. Enjoy your stroll, Dickie boy.
Mr. Prince! Mr. Prince!
Who's that? I've no money on me.
Richard, it's Richard. I work in your shop.
Trouble there? What's wrong?
I've got to see you, Mr. Prince. Something's happened.
Oh, I'm very tired, me boy. Tomorrow.
Sorry, but it has to be now. It's Larry.
Well, go on up to the flat. Wait for me. No, wait. I've got some pictures in the back of the car. You can help with those.
I think he's off his head, Mr. Prince.
My nephew? Very possibly.
Larry said I should copy you. You'd been in your basket for 10 years.
Did he say why?
No.
No matter. You'll probably know before long. Now you're one of his menagerie. You've a young man's appetite, a natural desire to embrace the female of the species.
Well, yes.
It's a strong desire, one that doesn't ebb easily. I'm drawn to females who have yet to lose their innocence. I can't help it. I wish the hell I could. 10 years ago, my nephew discovered my inclinations. He was instrumental in arranging for me to break a law made to protect Lolitas. And I became a victim of his blackmail, just as you have in your turn. He knew nothing about art, but he knew about the need for export licenses, how some paintings are classed as national treasures and must not be sent abroad. He insisted that I sell them secretly in France, for his profit, not mine. You've shown me confidence, Richard, and I'm very grateful. We're in this together. Can I ask you to trust me to handle it in my own way?
Yes, of course. What should I do?
Give me the keys to his flat. And book into a hotel and make sure you're seen to be there. I'll be in touch tomorrow, son.
I walked back to the golden apples of whatever it is. The sex shop Piet had renamed the stripped tree with the rotten apples. Something had guided my feet back there. The unconscious need to bring down a rotten apple, who called himself Larry Saint.
Mrs. Van der Valk, you must permit me to offer my most sincere apologies for the death of your husband.
Thank you.
Now, how may I help?
Mr. Saint, your life is forfeit.
I beg your pardon.
Your life is in my hands. I've thought about this carefully. I must give it back to you. I had no choice.
I don't understand you.
My husband was a professional who knew how to bring people to book. You killed him. I don't know why. Some people think you're mad. Others say you're touched with evil. I don't care. You seem to be clever. You seem quite confident that human justice cannot touch you. Again, I don't know. You could probably pin your guilt onto that poor confused boy I met here earlier. I didn't know what to do about you. I took the advice of my friends. They wish to kill you.
Really?
One of these friends is killed before. She knows all the ways. She's not mad, but she has a certain monomania. She's killed. And that marks you for life, wouldn't you agree?
Would I?
When I passed you on the stairs this afternoon, I wanted to kill you. I can understand the feelings of my friends. That's why I say your life is forfeit. I came to warn you, and to say I do not want your life. You must live with what you've done. You will live your whole life in misery because you are cowardly and treacherous. My husband, before you killed him, understood that and wrote it down. He called you Neil's son of woeful Asin.
You're out of your tiny tree, Mrs. Van der Valk.
You have a gun, I think. You can try and kill me. Try, you vermin. You disgrace to human existence. Try! Saint stood, his face flushed and angry. He took a step as if to throttle me. Then he stopped, stared beyond me. When I turned, I saw a heavy-jowled man of 60 or so, holding a strange little gun with a hexagonal barrel.
Madam, please forgive my impertinence, but I heard what you said about him, my own sister's son.
Uncle, please.
Shut up. You blackmailed me for years. Usurped my business, and now you're trying to blackmail and control that poor wretched boy. I had to act. I was going to kill you, arrange for it to look like suicide. But now I've heard what Madame Van der Valk has said to you, her suspicions, the boy's story, my experience of your treachery, all makes up to a pretty strong thread to tie round your leg.
Uncle.
Don't move, you piece of filth, unless you'd like the present of a bullet through your spine. Madam, will you be kind enough to telephone the police?
So I was put in my place, told by a responsible man to bring in the law.
Best thing for all of us.
I had to see Saint. I couldn't let you punish him for me. I had to do it myself. I hope you'll all forgive me.
My dear girl.
We were only trying to help you.
That's just what you did. I strolled along the street where my husband had died. I don't think Piet was afraid of dying. I could imagine him saying he'd had a life, married a wife, raised children, dug ground, planted a tree, sailed a boat and skied downhill, eaten and drunk and made love. I saw him lying on the ground, just there. He had a contented look, as though he knew that after all it hadn't been wasted. Yes,